having predicted that sooner or later the French army would return to attack Indochina. In August 1945, the Party Central Committee and President Ho Chi Minh assigned Pham Van Dong and Nguyen Luong Bang to stay in Tan Trao for a while, directly commanding and consolidating the Central Military Rescue Zone, the districts of Cho Don in Bac Can, Chiem Hoa, Son Duong in Tuyen Quang, Din Hoa Dai Tu in Tai Nguyen, selected as safe zones. Starting from November 1946, the agencies of the Party Central Committee, the government, and the General Command left Hanoi one after another to go to Viet Bac to lead and organize the long-term resistance. Factories, plants, factories, nearly 63,000 people from the lowlands and tens of thousands of tons of machinery, people and materials were transported and evacuated to the north to both produce and continue fighting. In early 1947, General Salin was sent by the French government to Tonkin to replace Colonel Debs as commander of the French forces in North Indochina. General Valois remained in command of the Expeditionary Force, replacing General Leclerc since June 1946. Valois and Salin studied a large-scale operation into the Viet Bac region with the following objectives: destroy and capture the headquarters of the Viet Minh, find and kill the main force, destroy the Viet Bac base, seal and tighten the Vietnam-China border, prevent the Viet Minh from contacting China and eliminate all external support, hunt down the Viet Minh to their lair and destroy all their resistance potential. The planned attack plan was divided into two steps. Step 1 was codenamed Lia, with the goal of capturing the Tam Gac area, Bac Can, Cho Don, and Cho Moi. Step 2 was codenamed Sang Tui, meaning tightening the belt. The French army would launch a force to sweep the triangle, Bac Can, Cho Chu, Cho Moi areas, with the Cho Chu area as the key target. The forces participating in the battle on both sides were as follows. The French force participating in the attack was about 15,000 troops, including 5 infantry regiments, 3 parachute divisions, 2 artillery divisions, 2 engineer divisions, and 3 mechanized companies, 2 squadrons with a total of 40 aircraft, 3 assault squadrons with 40 boats, but in reality it exceeded this number. On the Viet Minh side, there were 7 infantry regiments, about 15,000 to 16,000 troops, a total of 18 main battalions, 4,228 militia and guerrillas. In addition, there were self-defense forces of towns, cities, and factories throughout the Viet Bac military region. The artillery consisted of only 4 guns, including 3 75mm mountain guns, 1 70mm gun. The air defense system had 2 20mm guns, 2 13.2mm guns, and 6 12.7mm guns. General Command, with Vo Nguyen Giap as the commander. Phase 1 began. Opening the campaign on October 17, 1947, Colonel Henry Sauvignac led 800 paratroopers to land in Bac Can. Surprised by the parachute assault tactic, the Viet Minh forces in Bac Can town were quite weak. There was only a small part of the 49th Battalion and a new battalion of the Military Academy Chief Trang Quoc Tuan. These 2 units mainly opened fire to protect the people, and some agencies stationed here to retreat safely and then retreat. The French destroyed the printing press and some warehouses and seized 10 million Vietnamese dong from the treasury. But it was still far from the goal of destroying the war potential of the Viet Minh that France had set. Raoul Salan mistakenly thought that the place where his troops landed in Bac Can was the resistance capital and believed that he had struck straight into the heart of the enemy. At 11:35, Sauvignac reported by radio to Salan, "Mr. Ho Chi Minh has been captured and asked to end the war." Salan hurriedly flew back to Hanoi to report the good news to Saigon. However, a few hours later, Salan realized that he had been mistaken. In fact, that day, the paratroopers had captured a mature old man who spoke French and asked to end the war of aggression, so they mistook him. That was Mr. Nguyen Van To, head of the National Assembly Standing Committee. On October 8th, the French troops began to advance by both land and water routes. Another 200 French paratroopers landed to occupy the Cho Don market. Independent companies and Viet Minh guerrillas continuously attacked and eventually destroyed positions at Cho Don, Ngan Son, and Cho Ra, destroying 2 French platoons. The party central committee and the government were evacuated to safety. On October 9th, an event that changed the course of the campaign occurred. The 12.7mm aperture of the 675th Company, 74th Regiment, stationed at Tien Van Hill in Cao Bang Town, shot down a Junker Ju-52 transport plane carrying French campaign staff officers on a field inspection. 12 staff officers, including Colonel Lambert, Deputy Chief of Staff of the French Army in North Indochina, were killed. The Viet Minh captured the Viet Bac attack plan. Nguyen Dan Loc ran nearly 100 kilometers through the forest to bring the Viet Bac attack plan back to the headquarters. Through that, the Viet Minh had grasped the entire operation plan of the French army. Although it is very possible that the French army had predicted that the operation plan would fall into the hands of the Viet Minh. However, in a short time, the French commanders did not have time to change the plan and still decided to advance according to the established strategy. The naval force under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Pierre Communal will follow the waterway up the Da River and Gam River to occupy Doan Hung on October 12th and will attack Tuyen Quang on October 13th. On the infantry island, about 8,000 troops commanded by Colonel André Beaufray will advance from Lang Son along Route 4 through Dong Dang, Nha Cham, That Khe, Dong Khe to Cao Bang. Then from Cao Bang along National Route 3 down to Bac Can to surround the Viet Bac resistance base from the east. It is worth knowing that the enemy's attack route, Battalion 42 of the 174th Main Force Regiment, was tasked with holding the Bin Khe Thanh Nguyen Road, blocking the land route and the advance of the French naval force. This is an extremely important stronghold, the western gateway of the safe zone. Behind Battalion 42 is the Party Central Committee and the command headquarters. General Vo Nguyen Giap sent down an order with exactly one sentence: to live and die on the Bin Khe Thanh Nguyen Road. The entire battalion heard the order like thunder in their ears, full of enthusiasm, determined to fight the enemy to the death. On the morning of the 12th, the French warships and canoes advanced towards the battlefield. Although they had sent reconnaissance planes, the French army did not discover the ambush of the Viet Minh troops. When they penetrated deep into the battlefield to prepare for landing, from the bushes, the Viet Minh companies fired heavily at the French. A single bazooka of the battalion shot down a warship, forcing the French army to retreat. On October 13th, the French continued to send troops to fight back. A fierce battle broke out. 2 more warships were destroyed. The French did not land on the shore. The Bin Khe front was held. The 42nd Battalion made great achievements, considered a great victory opening the campaign. On October 13th, the General Command urgently adjusted and reorganized the specific forces as follows. Song Lo Front, Route 2, led by Tran Tu Bin and Ta Xuan Thu. The mission was to attack mobile land and water forces, prevent reinforcements and supplies, and advance to break the pincer movement in the west. The Bac Can Front on Route 3, under the command of Hoang Van Thai, had the mission of destroying enemy forces moving along the Bac Can and Cao Bang roads, as well as surrounding the Bac Can town, in order to protect central government agencies. The Route 4 front was directly commanded and overseen by Vo Nguyen Giap. On the afternoon of October 14th, the Party Central Committee met and passed the directive: must destroy the winter offensive of the French invaders. President Ho Chi Minh's assessment was, if we can attack the enemy everywhere, forcing them to spread their forces thin to deal with it, they will fail. We can preserve our main force through this year's winter, which is considered a victory. If this campaign does not win quickly to end the war, the new situation will be favorable to us. On all fronts, the Viet Minh fought bravely, blocking and repelling many advances of the French army. On October 15th, the French army was attacked in Cho Moi. On the 21st, the French army was attacked in Cho Dan. Along with that, 17 large and small ambushes in the areas of Phu Tong, Cho Moi, and Bac Can discouraged the French army. about 500 French troops were eliminated from the battle. Realizing that the fatal factor for the French was the issue of logistics, the General Command advocated striking hard on the Low River front and Route 4, destroying the enemy's transportation and supply. Closely combining with mobilizing the people, making the house and garden empty, and cutting off the enemy's local supply source. On October 24th, a convoy of 5 French warships advanced to Doan Hung, continuing to fall into the ambush of the Viet Minh. Only one vehicle escaped. After this battle, the Song Lo route was cut off for 10 days, and the French had to parachute supplies to Tuyen Quang and Chiem Hoa. The French press called this the Doan Hung disaster. The Song Lo victory continued to defeat the French plan to advance by water. On October 29th, Battalion 374 of Regiment 11 organized a battle in the uniform on Ban Sao Street, wearing Bong Lao. The convoy of 30 vehicles fell into an ambush of the army and suffered quite heavy casualties. About 250 soldiers were killed, all the vehicles were burned, the Viet Minh only lost 1 soldier, 5 were wounded. The 2 battles at Bong Lao on the Low River became 2 victories that represented the campaign. The ambush technique of the Viet Minh was extremely effective and caused the French army a lot of damage. The 2 assault helmets were not equipped for the paratroopers. The French army had to retreat. The Lea plan was ruined. Phase 2. After Lea's failure, the French launched a new attack, Ceinture. From November 19 to December 14, 1947, the French army marched to sweep the quadrangle, Tuyen Quang, Thanh Nguyen, Phulang Thuong, Viet Tri, where many Viet Minh government agencies were closed, destroyed the radio station, captured a banknote printing machine, many types of weapons, and there were rumors that they almost captured the Viet Minh headquarters. After the initial surprise, the Viet Minh troops organized ambushes on Route 4 Lang Son, Cao Bang, attacking the French outposts scattered to maintain that traffic axis. On the Bac Con front, on the night of November 30th, Battalion 160 and a company of Regiment 72 entered Bac Con town to attack Phu Thong Post, killing 50 soldiers. This was the first battle in which the French army was annihilated in fortifications. On the Tuyen Quang front, the Viet Minh army attacked the sections from Truong Hoa to Tuyen Quang, Phulang Thuong, and the Tuyen Quang Ha Giang Road. The French were forced to withdraw from Tuyen Quang town. After failing to form a siege, the French commanders decided to withdraw from Viet Bac in December. Seizing the opportunity, on December 15th, the troops of Regiment 165 fought an excellent ambush at Giang Pass, destroying 17 vehicles, killing 60 soldiers, capturing 2 million Indo-Chinese piastres and many weapons and military equipment. The French troops on the retreat route were all defeated. On December 19th, the majority of the French troops withdrew from Viet Bac. The operation ended. During the entire campaign, the Viet Minh claimed to have eliminated the fighting ability of 6,000 French and puppet soldiers, captured more than 270 soldiers, shot down 18 planes, sunk 54 canoes and warships, destroyed 255 vehicles of all kinds, captured about 500 bazookas, 1,600 rifles, and several tons of military equipment. The Viet Minh only suffered 260 casualties, 168 wounded, damaged 1 75mm cannon, lost 4 machine guns, and 40 rifles. The Viet Bac campaign was considered the first major victory of the Viet Minh army in the war, defeating the French strategy of quick attack and quick victory, forcing the French and falling into the trap of long-term fighting, stretching the forces that the Viet Minh had prepared. This victory also affirmed that the material strength and military ambition of the French colonialists could not overcome the mettle and intelligence of the Vietnamese people. We hope that our videos have partly recreated the glorious feats of the Vietnamese army and people on the path of building and defending the country. And now, goodbye, and see you again.